Hello, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started here today. Welcome to this episode of the Brynka Beacon. I am Jennifer Young, your host of the Brynka Beacon. And today we're going to be discussing how you can get a grip on your organization. And this is a topic that's part of a 6-part series. This is topic number 3, core values that mean something. So we can move on to our next slide here. Presenting today, we have 3 speakers. We have Cedric Bozeman, Manager of Mail Services at Elon University in Elon, North Carolina. He has been with Elon for 24 years in a management role for 7 years and is a member of CUMSA and NACOMS. And we also have Brenda Fick. She is the president of Brynka, which is located right outside of Philadelphia, PA. She has been in the mailing industry for over 30 years and has been speaking about mail and distribution for many years, bringing her vast expertise to interactive conferences that discuss issues and processes in a workshop environment. And then we have Brynka's own Peggy Smith. Peggy joined us here at Brynka about 2 years ago, so we get the pleasure of working with her now as a coworker instead of a client. She came to us from Washington University at St. Louis, where she spent the last 34 years. There, Peggy oversaw faculty and staff mail, package and receiving operations for academic and medical campuses, servicing nearly 20,000 employees and over 5,000 on-campus students. So welcome to all of our guest speakers today, and thank you for joining us. So we can move on to the next slide. We mentioned our topic is core values that mean something. So our panel is going to dig in and reveal why our core values need to be more than just pretty words on your website or on your conference room wall. So this webinar is brought to you free of charge by Brynka, who offers flexible tracking solutions. So we invite you to sit back, relax, listen, learn, and participate. Feel free at any point, if you have a question or a comment, to go ahead and throw that in the chat, and we'll be happy to respond. So first up, we have Brenda Fick. Welcome, Brenda.
Thank you, Jen, and thank you for everyone that has joined us. So just to make sure that you can get into the chat, Lori, I'm going to pick on you. Can you just put something in the chat to us when you have a chance? I just want to make sure that everyone can put something in the chat, because that's a good way for you to talk to us, ask a question. Oh, there's Mark. How about Lori? All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. I just want to make sure that everyone can provide that. So the EOS system. So many years ago, I wanted to understand the EOS system, entrepreneur operating system, and Brynka actually started this last year. And it was so helpful to us as a business. I thought, you know what, I think there's a lot of help that we can give our business partners that they can use the same system. So it's not going to be an in-depth, but the 6-part series is going to help us help you to operate your organization, your department better. So in the next slide, we'll see how the parts are all kind of combined together. So it's in the middle, instead of your business, you could say your department, but around it, you have the people, you have the vision, data, process, issues, traction. So the first one was leadership and how you can look at yourself as a leader and what you may need to do. The second was people. And this time around, we're going to look at the vision, and we're going to specifically look at the core values within that vision, because that's one of the things that you need to start with. What are your core values? So when you go to the next slide, I just wanted to once again let everyone know we started with leadership. Then the next was people. So June 8th, we're on core values that mean something. And then if you want to write those dates down, these are this goes through the whole 6-part series. So let's go to the next slide and let's talk about core values. Unequivocal excellence. Now, can everybody get to total perfection? No. But when you have core values, you can, and your team is going by those core values and keeps on striving for that perfection, you're going to win more. You're going to do the right thing. They're all going to have that compassion to make sure they're following that core value or those core values that you've set up. It promotes honesty, integrity. It has everybody wanting to achieve and make sure that they're reaching those core values, as well as being enthusiastic, energetic. So it really adds a lot to your department and the team within your department when you have core values that are valuable being set up. So go ahead to the next screen. So again, just a little bit, within your team, if all of them are striving with these core values, they're going to be a little bit more creative. They're going to have that accountability of having those core values. They're going to make sure, because everyone within a department is normally serving someone, and within the university space, it's not only your faculty, it's your staff, it's your students, and even the students' parents. So there's a lot of accountability there. So you always are striving to make sure that your customer, above all else, is satisfied. So you're going to work harder, and you're never totally satisfied because you're always striving. You're always making those core values better. And you're always self-improving. And when everyone understands the core values, knows the core values, that also shows your department as a real professional department. And again, that individual initiative is really strengthened. Go ahead to the next slide. So what are we going to talk about today? So we're going to have a lot of samples of core values. So if you don't have any, there's going to be a lot of core values that you will see and you can kind of look at and talk to with your team. We're going to look at how you can define your culture, your values, how to prepare your own. We're going to look at how clear values can help recruit and retain staff, how to utilize core values and attract those like-minded to your team. Once again, if everyone is not following the same core value, you're going to have a little bit of a distinction, and because they're not following the team, that will be an issue sometime in the future. Last, how once defined, you will hire, review, reward, and recognize people based on these core values. Core values that mean something. What are core values important at every level? So depending on if you have multiple departments, one department, when you have, it goes from the top down. So you start with your core values, and then every single level within your department or different departments, they need to follow the same core values, because that's how you can gain that understanding and you can really understand what values truly mean and what's going to help you within your organization. So, and even how you can create your department core values. So, next slide. So what are core values? Small set of vital and timeless guiding principles for your department. And what you want to do is have 3 to 7. So less is better than having a ton of core values to follow. Again, it's going to define who you are as a people and your culture within your department. Go ahead into the next one. Okay, so now we're going to have Peggy start with some of her core values that she set up at WashU. But one of the things that I really wanted to start happening with all the different core values, if you see a unique core value that you have or that you want to put in to your department, I'd like you to start chatting. So anyone that has some core values existing or that they want to put in their department, just start putting it into the chat, and we'll kind of look at that at the end and see what different core values are from what we look at within this PowerPoint presentation. So Peggy, let's, you want to start?
Sure, absolutely. I also wanted to welcome everyone, and really pleased that Cedric from Elon University will be sharing core values as well from his university and his department. And so, as Brenda said, if you would think about what core values that you feel that fits into your organization, that fits into your department, and put that in the chat so that we can share that with everyone. Next slide, please. So as Brenda said, you know, what is the value of core values? They really, you know, when I first I've been at the University, Washington University in St. Louis for a long time, and worked in a lot of different areas, divisions and things like that. Once our group, Mail and Receiving Services, joined under the Department of Facilities Management, that area was a team of probably 200 or so people. Again, mail services under that. And as a group, as a management team, as senior managers and directors, we put core values together. And so I was introduced to this concept probably about 10 years ago. But once your core values are defined, it can help weed out those that may not agree or want to comply with those values. It's important for individuals on your team, in your department, who work for you, that share in those core values so your department can grow. Core values can help build a thriving culture around them. Hopefully people understand what those core values and I guess help to make sure that those values are followed. Organizations that do not define their core values may lack clarity, and it may hinder their growth. When people do not embrace your values, their actions could actually hurt rather than help. And as we go into this, I mean, I really saw as our department at the university, everything was centered in some respects around our core values. And without defining them, there's no way of knowing who believes and who does not believe in your core values to help your organization. Again, not just an organization, but a department. If it's a department of auxiliary services, of mail services, of print and mail, all of that plays a key role within the organization. And if staff do not align with your core values, they don't necessarily belong on your team. What do you think? I'm just going to throw that out as a question. And if you would respond in the chat, do you feel that individuals who do not believe in core values, that they don't belong on your team? So while you think about that, I'm going to ask for the next slide, and I'm going to share with you some examples of core values. Thank you, Todd. So at Washington University, again, the School of Medicine joined forces with the University Mail and Receiving Services. We collaborated, we coordinated efforts, we consolidated. And the Mail and Receiving Services, as I said before, was under the Operations and Facilities Management Department. And their mission, again, you start with a mission, and around that mission, you can begin to build your core values underneath that. And the mission simply was pride in service do the right thing. So the staff of OFMD did strive to provide responsible stewardship for the long-term preservation and growth of Washington University School of Medicine, the physical assets, while working to ensure a safe, a welcoming, and high-quality environment for students, for faculty, staff, and visitors in support of the school's mission of clinical care, research, and education. And they added under that programs, all the programs that are under OFMD, the processes, the goals, the training, the performance evaluation. We had a very intense performance evaluation process. And as Lori can attest to that, and Dale, who I believe is on the call, we had very rigid guidelines for performance. And those evaluations connected to our mission and to our core values. Each person had to address how their performance reflected the mission and the core values. When we as leaders engage our employees as authentic leaders, we can positively influence our team, the morale and productivity, including work outcomes and again, the business productivity. Next slide, please. All right, so the core values under Washington University, under the OFMD department, which mail and receiving services was a key team player, was pride. P-R-I-D-E. So the P in pride, you were expected to act with professionalism at all times by being approachable, supportive, accountable. Everything we did, we had to be accountable for, from our staff to our actions, to the way we conducted ourselves in meetings, and everything. So we had to take responsibility for the quality and the completion of our work with professionalism, and again, accept personal responsibility for our actions and strive to solve problems. The R in pride is showing respect for others, was our second core value. For others and ourselves, by showing compassion and empathy, by respecting, you have to respect yourself before you can respect others. You had to, respect each experience for what it is, being civil with one another and not judging. And in particular, not participating or promotion of gossip. Gossip can be so detrimental that, that we just have to avoid it at all costs. The I in pride is act with integrity by being honest, being trustworthy, and doing the right thing. We saw that earlier in one of the slides as one of the definitions of one of the descriptors of core values, of being honest and being trustworthy, having integrity. And the D in pride is dedication. The School of Medicine, the facilities department was dedicated not only to the school, to the university, but to the community. They often did fundraisers for the community to give back and to be acting as stewards of the environment as well. And the E in pride, the final core value is excellence. Always working the goal of excellence, keeping the goal with excellence in mind. We will develop unified facilities and safety services organizations that is customer service focused. That was so important. And I'm sure with everyone in the mail services and print operation, our customers, we have to be focused around our customers, be it students, faculty, staff, researchers, visitors to the university or to your company, and to always strive to be the benchmark that other universities or other companies want to model you or model your department. Are there any comments with regard to that? Dale and Lori, I would say that that's obviously still in place. It's on the website, it's readily available, and it's often visited, as I said, throughout someone's career at the School of Medicine. Next slide, please. All right, so here's just another example, and I want you again to think about what your core values are, because we're going to be visiting those, and hopefully there's some information, some that have been shared in the chat. So some other ones are the credibility, innovation, collaboration, customer orientation that we've already talked about, excellence we absolutely have talked about, transparency. So then again, think about what your core values are, and we look forward to your sharing them with us. Next slide, please. So now we have an opportunity to hear from Cedric with Elon University. So Cedric, please share.
Cedric, we'll just need you to hit the unmute. Let me,
Can y'all hear me now?
yeah.
Yes.
Thank
yes.
you.
Yeah, I'm just going to discuss a little bit about what our Elon University mission statement is. And it says Elon University embraces its founder's vision of an academic community that transforms our mind, body, and spirit, and it encourages freedom of thought and liberty of conscience. Can you go to the next slide? In order to fulfill that vision, Elon acts upon these commitments, and it equates to core values, which we nurture a rich intellectual community characterized by active student engagement, which is one thing that we're really big on is student engagement. And with a faculty dedicated to excellent teaching and scholarly accomplishments. So like I said, it's important to go out. Like I said, student engagement is one of our strong suits. And we try to go out and hire the best faculty as possible to teach these kids. We provide a dynamic and challenging undergraduate curriculum grounded in the traditional liberal arts and sciences, complemented by distinctive professional and graduate programs. So every year, like I said, we're trying to offer new programs. I think this year we opened a new nursing curriculum, engineering curriculum. So like I said, right now we're on like a 10-year boldly statement that strategic plan that we're working towards. And I've heard that they're actually working on a new rebranded, which is going to feature a whole new set of core values, which I just heard this morning in a meeting. We integrate learning across disciplines and put knowledge into practice, thus preparing students to be global citizens, informed leaders motivated by concern for the common good. And we also foster respect for human differences, passion for a life of learning, and personal integrity, and an ethical work and service. And that's one of the things, is one key term is that respect for everybody. So if you can go to the next slide. Elon, we operate on the auxiliary services. And most of what the values that I just shared on the last slide, to me, speak more of a faculty or more classroom set of values. But it still ties into what we try to do in auxiliary services. Our mission in auxiliary services is to provide effective and efficient services to students, faculty, staff, and guests of the university. These services are designed to support the educational and co-curricular programs of the university, which we fall under administration division of other university. And one thing which is not shown on the slide, we value diversity, inclusion, creativity, and innovation, and collaboration and respect for one another in all programs. And the other thing is we value our relationship with our Elon University community. I mean, like I said, we're located in between a little two cities, so a lot of our students blend in with our community. And it's important that we have great relationships with our community. So that's another thing. And then the other thing, we value the time and efforts of our members who volunteer and achieve our mission to deliver excellence in learning. And so like I said, that's our core values. And like Peggy and Brenda said, if you didn't have those, it'd be tough to run a university, because you got to have some type of goals and values set. And you can go to the next slide.
Very good. Very good, Cedric. You said it very well, how your goals as a department blend in with universities. And as a testament to, your long tenure at the university, 24 years, and then moving into management. I believe, again, having goals and maybe being the opportunity to be able to stretch, to grow as individuals, and all of the core values and mission helps us get there, I firmly believe.
Correct.
And yeah, so that's excellent. I'm glad that you shared that with us. Again, okay, so now we're going to take a look at company's core values, Brynka's core values, and Brenda is going to share with us next. So Brenda.
So the next part we're going to talk about is how do I, if you haven't done so, how do I figure out what my core values are? So what Brynka did is we took our leadership team and we started writing, and this literally we were doing for 4 hours. So all of it is not here. It's some of it. And we just started, what we felt over, 20 plus years of being in business, what was our core values. And so we would throw out committed, creative, flexible, and we would talk about customers and vendors and other business partners, what they thought, really diving in and seeing exactly what does Brynka provide in its core values to make sure we're getting to, like I said, you really want to get to 3. So looking at all of them, helpful, humble, we took all of them and then we came up with, okay, from all of those, what does that, if we looked at all of them, is there 3 uniques that would encompass all of these other core values? So if we go to the next slide, those are the 3. Those are the 3 that we came up with: customer-centric, do the right thing, go the extra mile. So those are our 3 core values. And then what we did is just to make sure, we didn't, we took everything all over again. And in the next slide, we took all of those lists and say, okay, is there something else that we should add as a core value? But as we went through everything, for example, go the extra mile, that's what helpful is. That's what being flexible is. That's what being creative is. So again, we want to get it as minimal as possible, but it incorporates a lot of those things. A team player, continuous self-improvement. So all of those things really go along with going the extra mile. Same thing with, do the right thing, honest, loyal, committed, humble. So all of those things were incorporated into one, do the right thing. Customer centric is, personal relationships, customer satisfaction, customer first. So one of the things after we got all of these values and sub-values, then we went to our team. So everyone on the team would understand our core values and the sub-values, meaning this is what we also do value-wise that go into go the extra mile, do the right thing, being customer centric. And we also gave examples of how we do it with people within our team at Brynka, as well as how we do it with our customers, so that they understand this is what Brynka is all about. This is our core value. And in doing that, we now have, if someone is not following that core value, then they should not be a part of the Brynka team. If I hire someone, I need to give them a whole list of values and let them figure out what they represent. And if they're not representing everything of my core values, then I probably won't hire them because it won't fit within ours. So how you hire, how you fire, how that team will grow is really based on those core values. So Peggy, we're going to go back to you and on the next screen. So far we don't have anybody. As we still have some time, if anybody has any questions or if anybody has any core values that you have not seen on the screen, definitely put them in the chat. Hopefully this is helpful for everybody to, if you have core values, maybe how you can enhance them. If you don't have core values, there's a lot of information for you to build on those core values. So go ahead, Peggy.
Okay. Yes. So again, as Brenda has said, as Cedric has shared, there's a lot of things that are in common with these different sets of core values that we've talked about today. And you really, by taking this information and creating core values for your department, taking it to your management, I think they would be quite impressed. And again, it's things that your department can strive towards. Again, integrity, ethics, principles. A lot of things are about principles, and that's some of the things that I got hung up on. Sometimes it's about principle, and you've got to stick to your guns, principles and accountability. Making sure that people are doing, again, the right thing. That was a core value. That was one of Washington University's, and it was Brynka's, and underlying certainly in Cedric. So think about that. So next slide, please, Todd. So again, I'm just going to give you a couple more descriptions, some additional thoughts about additional core values. Sincerity, that ties into compassion that was built in to to Washington University's. Dedication, that was definitely built in there. Respect, discipline, again, integrity, tolerance, benevolence, core values. Again, think about what yours are. Next slide, please. Or, okay, we do have a comment. I'm just going to go ahead. Thank you, Barb, for sharing our wisdom. Let me go back to that. Okay. If the daily work does not reflect our expectations for quality, say something. Our operators are good observers and know what the look of a mail piece should be. When it doesn't, we ask them to say something. That's a very good point. Again, you know, the quality of a mail piece is reflective of your organization. And, you know, we have a voice, we can contribute to that, and share your thoughts, your wisdom, and make sure that something goes out with excellence and professionalism. So that is really a good point, Barb, and appreciate that feedback. Anyone else? Well, there's still time, so I'm going to take a look at these other ones that we have. Oops. All right, so I just have to get back to my screen, folks. Just give me one moment. I was pushing too many buttons. All right, there we go. Now I can read it better. So again, constant improvement. So what would be under constant improvement? I'm sure everyone would agree that, you know, we're always needing to improve our processes, our efficiencies, and sometimes good enough is never enough. We drive change with vigor. We celebrate our successes, but are relentless, dissatisfied. We have a very strong work ethic. So again, constant improvement. A unique culture. We hold ourselves and each other accountable. Work well in teams. It's very important to have good teamwork, to be able to collaborate and to embrace a lean, flat, and horizontal structure. It's kind of interesting, you know, what are we? What are you? Are you lean, flat, horizontal, vertical? There's a lot of different ways to look at your structure. Customer focus, we've talked about that quite a bit. And how the customer is the boss, the customer is right, you know. Sometimes they aren't always right, but we have to listen, and we have to, if we've made a mistake, we have to learn from that. If we don't support the customer directly, we serve those that do. Customers, service, thumbs up, everything. Integrity, value of people. We treat people with courtesy, dignity, respect. That's the golden rule. And again, a passion for winning. Who out there would say they have a passion for what they do? Do you have a passion, a drive, not necessarily to win, but to be good, to be the best that you can be, but to remain humble also. So that's about all that I have to share. And I believe our Brynka Beacon has to share for this one. But we have a couple more things, so it's open for questions and comments at this time and always. So, and we'll have this available late after the presentation so that you can take a look at it, so you can begin building yours. And reach out to us if you have questions as you begin to build it. Seems to be another new message. Okay, yeah. Let me see, let me add this. Until you said humble, I was going to throw out Elon Musk's name. Very good.
Yeah, well, you know, go ahead. Jen, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I just had one more thought for if people are a little stumped about what their core values should be, one thing that we learned through this process of implementing this here at Brynka was that if you think of your superstar employees, so everybody has that person on their team or those few individuals where you think to yourself, I wish I could clone that person and have 10 or 20 or 100 of people just like that working for me, because they always seem to do their work. They always seem to be passionate and excited about what they do and just ready and willing. And if you look at the qualities that that person has, and what you appreciate about that person, then that's a direction you can kind of go to start brainstorming as far as what your organization's core values are. Because like Brenda and Peggy mentioned, you're going to use those to bring on additional people that share your same core values. So it's just a good little trick of a starting tip to get yourself rolling with ideas and brainstorming, which we love to do here.
That's right. Thank you,
Yes.
Jen.
And thanks, Jen, definitely. And, you talk about Elon Musk, the people that surround him, a lot of them are they're not humble either, so there could be some organizations that they don't want to hire a person that's humble because that's not their core value. Their core value is win, 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 no matter the cost or what you need to do. So again, that's why your core values within your department, your organization, you want to know what that is to grow your business or grow your organization, and then make sure everybody else is following it. So the next slide, for those of you that do not know, Brynka will be at NACMS. Peggy will be there. Mark will be there. I will be there. And I just wanted to give a shout out, July 22nd through 26th. And the one thing I will be presenting, and I asked them what they wanted to do a presentation on, and go ahead to the next slide. And I gave them all of the 6-part series, and they want to have setting yourself up for success in 2024. So that's what we're going to discuss and talk about, which will be very interesting. So the one thing that I'm going to do in the presentation, though, is just touch on all 6. But what I'm going to really focus on is the one that's coming up August 8th, which is what gets measured, gets improved. Because if you have all these things and you don't have any accountability for the success, you're not going to grow. And you have to measure, and it's called a scorecard, which you will learn on August 8th if you join us, or if you're at NACMS, because that's the one thing that will really motivate your team, which is October 12th. And then the final, December 14th, again, we're going to go through all of the 6 aspects and how you can set yourself up for the next year. So once again, thank you very much. Jen, any final thoughts? Want to end our show?
Yeah, thank you everybody for joining us today for this episode of the Brynka Beacon, and we look forward to seeing you hopefully at our next Brynka Beacon. Have a great day, and thanks for joining.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Cedric. Thanks, Peggy.
Bye.
Thanks, Jen.